Welcome to the Prepare to Repair show right here on WJOL 1340. I am your host, Steve Suarez, Plumber Steve, owner of RJ Graham Plumbing. And it's Monday. That means we're here talking home improvement, preparing to repair, if you will. And as always, the Prepare to Repair show is presented by Ferguson Supply, Kitchen, Bath, and Lighting Showroom, located at 7950 West 185th Street in Tinley Park. Whether you are doing a minor facelift or a full kitchen and bath remodel, Ferguson has you covered. Today I am joined by Dan Maka from Maka Homes, one of the leading remodeling companies in the area. I'm proud to have worked with Dan on many projects, and in my opinion, his attention to detail is second to none. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, Steve. Thanks so much for that introduction. That's
Hey,
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, you know what? I've worked with you, and even when everything goes smoothly, which you'd like for them to go smoothly, that's great. But when they don't and you have hiccups and you have the same goal, the same vision, and the same attitude towards the quality of getting everything done properly and done right and making sure the customer is happy, then when you work with people like that, it makes it a whole lot easier.
Oh, for sure.
That, at least in my opinion.
I think we're cut from the same cloth in that regard. You know,
yeah.
I think everyone putting the customer first there's no better way to get awesome results.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I get a phone call, hey, we have an issue here. Okay, what do we got? What do we need to do? There isn't, well, that's your fault. Or, well, your guys didn't do this. That doesn't solve anything.
No, that doesn't help anything. And I think that's one of the great reasons you should always hire a reputable contractor to manage the whole thing. When we do the job, there's one person in charge. There's one person responsible. Even when you're working for us, ultimately everything comes down to me.
Oh, yeah. And, well, you at the end, it has to come down to one person. And I'm reminded that you said that there was a movie that I watched, came out in like the late 90s, called Payback with Mel Gibson. Did you ever see that movie?
It sounds very familiar.
He was a criminal, and him and his guy, they robbed the outfit at the mob, and they didn't rob the outfit. They robbed another criminal gang. And they wound up, they were supposed to divide the money. They didn't divide it. The gentleman, one of his partners, wound up trying to shoot him to keep the money. And he gave the money that he owed to the mob, the outfit, if you will. And he wound up, shooting him, leaving him for dead, and using that money to pay off a debt to get in. Well, long story short, you go through the movie. He goes and wants his money. And it was $140,000. He wanted his share. So he's going to these mob bosses. And in one of the comments, he says, at the end of the day, it comes down to one person making the decision. Who's that? Mm-hmm. There's always one person. It always comes down. One person making the decision. And that's when you saying that brought me to that. It's at the end of the day, there's one person to make a decision, yes or no. And you want to get to that person. You don't want to deal with getting deferred, bounced, jumbled around.
Right.
You want to deal with one person who I can get a yes or no answer from and be done.
You see that a lot. You hear those stories a lot online where somebody's like, well, they didn't want to fix it because they said this person did that wrong. Well, when one person's in charge and one person knows what they're doing, they don't see a problem and continue past it. You need to stop. You need to address that issue because they only get bigger later.
Exactly. You fix it and get it done. Also, I wanted to tell everyone, and you might think this is pretty interesting, especially with, kitchen and baths. I wanted to let everybody, don't forget to log on to WJOL.com for your chance to win the Delta Touch IQ faucet we're giving away. It's kitchen faucet. It's courtesy of us at RJ Graham Plumbing and Ferguson Supply. We will be announcing the winner on next week's show. So you get the chance to bring a little technology into your home with this, or into your kitchen with this cool Delta faucet.
The touch one. So is that the one you can just bump with your wrist when your hands are all dirty and it turns on and off?
That's it. It does that. It has that feature. And it also, you can say, fill up half a cup of water, and it will fill it up. It connects to your Alexa or whatever your electronic devices.
Oh, fancy.
Oh, yeah. This thing's pretty cool, man. If you haven't seen them, they're pretty awesome.
Speaking of giveaways, I was at dinner at my mom's house last night, and Joe mentioned to us that he hadn't heard about the last giveaway. Did you guys get a winner for the hot water heater?
We gave away a tankless water heater about a year ago at this time, and we did announce a winner. We wound up doing it for a great customer that lived in Joliet, right near Briggs and I-80.
Oh, nice.
And it was the perfect application, or perfect person who won it, because the way her home was laid out, and a lot of people will probably identify with this, she was on a slab, and her utility area, she had, because she was on well water, she had her softener, her water heater, and her pressure tank all in the same little area. So by putting this tankless unit in, it freed up much needed space in this utility area.
That sounds like the ideal spot for that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So she was ecstatic with it. So yeah, I think we announced it 1 year ago, because usually what we do is when we announce the winner, it's usually I think it was right before Memorial Day of this time last year, and that show re-airs. So next week's winner that we choose, next week's show, if they miss it, they'll be able to hear the re-air of the show on Memorial Day, because we're off.
Okay. Well, I'll have to let him know. He's probably listening. So just so you know, a whole bunch of fans of your show in my family. I think they're probably all
cool. I appreciate that. But yes, we did give it away, and the owner or the person who won it couldn't be more deserving and more happy with the product. And the installation, the whole 9 yards, turned out really nice.
I'd guess they can probably find something about it on the Facebook page for the show.
Oh, yeah. If you look at it, you'll see that we announced the winner. It was like a year ago at this time.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean,
awesome.
We ran it for, was it like right around this time last year? It was really cool.
Nice. Cool giveaway.
Yes, we did give it away, and then they kind of throw their hat in the ring and go on WJL.com, because we announced the winner, but it's picked by the radio, so we can't choose anything.
Good. Nice and fair that way, huh?
I like to keep it that. This way it's not, hey, it was my cousin's brother's uncle's father's son's roommate from college that lived out of town. You know what I mean? So,
right.
So they're getting it. But speaking of this faucet here, and the technology, and people are like, wow, do I really want all those, bells and whistles? Nah, some people want it, some people don't. But I think the touch feature is really awesome. It's really, especially if you cook, you have your hands full with kids, with just anything in the house. It makes it a great feature. The voice IQ or the touch IQ faucet, or the voice activated feature on it, is really cool, because you can say wash mode, and it'll turn on water, and you can wash your hands. So it'll give you enough water to do that, and it shuts itself off.
That's very nice.
There's a lot of cool features on that. But technology, this shows how technology is really entering the trades. It's it's automating and making everybody's life easier, where a simple kitchen faucet, which you thought was, okay, this is something that, what could you technologically do that and make advance, I guess, and make better than it was when it was invented, other than design?
I think we've had this conversation 100 times in our showroom. So as we're going through product selection with the customers, and we've done all the big stuff that's in our showroom, we get to a point where we're often pulling up build.com, Build with Ferguson. I guess they sponsor your show now.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
But they have an awesome website where we can pull up faucets, sinks, light fixtures, accessories for the bathroom. We can pick all that stuff out online. Our computer goes to a wall-mounted TV right next to it where our customers sit at that meeting. But we're able to pick out all that stuff online. And often that exact point gets brought up, because we'll look at the faucet and it'll have a touch option or a voice option or both, or various options depending on the brand. And my point is, what do you do when you're cutting up some chicken, and that can be kind of hazardous if it gets around the raw chicken juice gets around the kitchen. I said, it's perfect for that. You're prepping your food. You're able to come over to it and turn it on without spreading any bacteria around your kitchen. So, yeah, they got an awesome website. I got to give them an unsolicited plug. But yeah, you can put everything in there. You can save your cart. You can email it to a customer. They also have a really nice button on there where you can just hit it and download the combined specs. So if we have 5 or 6 items in the cart for our customer, we download the spec sheets, and then we load that all right into our app. So all of our guys on the job, our customer, everyone can see that.
Well, and the thing is about that is you're not giving him an unsolicited plug. I mean, when Mac was on here, Mac was talking about, the Build.com app and talking about how it really allows people to see what they're getting. And there's video of the operation of this particular faucet. So, which really gives you an idea of what the features are if you can't be in the showroom to actually see it.
Sure.
So, and plus, if you're in your showroom and you're going over ideas and options, this is great. So you can almost, interactively see how these products work and kind of visualize them in your home or working in your home before it's even in there. So that's, where you couldn't do that before.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think, we've tried hundreds of websites by now. And that one just works out great. In our showroom, we have cabinets, countertops, tile, flooring, backsplash, accents, tons of things for kitchen, bath, and basement remodeling. But we just don't have the space for 100 or 500 faucets or 100 or 500 sinks. So their website is just an awesome tool for that.
Oh yeah, it allows you to show just so many different options and possibilities for this particular remodel or kitchen that you're putting together for them. And there's some kitchens that are smaller that I need to get the most out of this space. Mm-hmm. And there are also kitchens that are larger that may have a couple of sinks in there that are to work with. And another thing about Ferguson is the fact that they sell appliances too, so you can kind of get them an idea of what you're going to have, depending on how elaborate they want to get, how everything's going to all look together if they go with specific designs.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to have to get over and check out their new space. Is that in Tinley Park?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't been there personally yet, but it's on my to-do list.
Go there. Mac, if you're listening out there, Mac Tracy with Ferguson, you need to call Dan, and when Dan comes in there, give him a walkthrough because he needs to see everything that you got over there. It is definitely a place to visit and just to even get ideas.
Inspiration.
Yes, yeah. Yes. I mean, just to get, okay, maybe I could do this, maybe I can do that. And it kind of, like I said, stirs the creativity.
Sure.
If you will. So definitely something to walk through on that. But we were talking about, like I said, just technology of how you're able to do that. And, it helps professionals such as yours, because you're a professional such as you and, companies such as yours, you have an issue, and I'm not saying you per se, but you have to take their vision and put that down. And it's really tough to see what's going on in somebody's head.
Sure.
So they need somebody like, with this technology, somebody at your professionalism to be able to do that. And, that's why I like when people listen to the show, the Prepare to Repair show here on WJOL 1340. They can get this information here that is going to open their eyes to, and give them that, hey, we do have this kind of technology there that's going to give us a visual, and so we can get the right product. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back here with Dan Maka on the Prepare to Repair show here with Plumber Steve with RJ
Fire Department.
Welcome back to the Prepare to Repair show. I am your host, Plumber Steve with RJ Graham Plumbing here on 1340 WJOL. Joining me is the remodeler extraordinaire, Dan Maka with Maka Homes.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm hyping you up, man.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm appreciating your plugs today. Good.
Hey, man,
good stuff.
Got to give you some love. You do a great job, and love the work that you do. And like I said, the attention to detail is second to none. That doesn't mean you're perfect. That's the thing that I want people to really kind of, I want to diffuse that. It's not we're perfect. you make it right.
Right.
You know, there's going to be hiccups. There's going to be mistakes. And I look at it this way. I like to look at what we do in the plumbing industry and what you do in remodeling is, it's kind of like getting a tattoo. And you're like, wow, the person who did this tattoo is perfect. No. Anybody who's in the business or anybody they know where they made the mistake.
Sure.
But they covered it up. They're that good to cover it up that you don't even know. And when you're doing this, is you can remedy your mistake so it's nobody knows. You fixed it, nobody knows, it's all done. You didn't cut any corners, you didn't do anything, but you were able to fix it and resolve it, and it didn't become somebody else's problem.
I think it's a rarity that a remodeling job especially goes perfect, you know. I think everything in construction is fluid to a degree, you know. It's a work in motion, and with the best planning, you know, you're still going to get halfway through something and probably need to make an adjustment or run into a hiccup that, you know, you're going to need to come up with a solution for. At the end of the day, for us, it's really just about treating that home like it's our own,
right?
You know. My thought process is, well, what would I do if this was mine? You know, when I'm trying to advise customers on options or which ways we could move forward, often there's A, B, and C, you know.
Right.
In a perfect world, here's A. You know, if we're considering budget, here's B. If we're only wanting the best possible finished product, here's C, you know. So I think my job is to present those options to them, give them my opinion on the pros and cons for each way moving forward, and then ultimately let them make that decision, and we execute. Well,
that's where, you know, before the break we were talking about technology. That's where showing them what it could look like and where they can be, and again, give them an idea of this is what your end product is going to look like. And
sure.
Again, and I was saying that, I go, you guys have a tough, see, when we put something in, it's got to be in the right location. It's got to work. You don't want it to leak. You want everything to be where it needs to be. And you know if it works or not.
It's a little black and white.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much, you know, there's very little gray area on it.
Sure.
Now with yours, you have a lot of variables and a lot of moving parts that you have to make work all within this vision that the homeowner has. And that can be very tricky to do because you have materials that this isn't what I picked out, or this doesn't look like, you know what I mean? So giving them as much information as you can visually really eliminates a lot of issues maybe on the back end.
Yeah. So, you know, what we're able to do to help in that regard is we're actually building their new kitchen or their new bathroom in a software, which also allows us to do a 3D render, you know. So we are showing the customer potentially what their kitchen is going to look like before they have to commit to anything, you know. Here's what you have, and boom, with a click of a button, we're showing a 3D photo, a 3D that we can rotate around on the big screen in the office and show them exactly what that new space is going to look like. And that's just one of the new technologies that we're offering. So one of the things we've been working on lately is an app. So we have an online
I think it's
portal,
great that you got this stuff.
Right? So we're now able to put everything related to the job in one spot that the customer has access to, that our office team has access to, that my guys in the field have access to, that subcontractors like yourselves at RJ Graham have access to. We build a job schedule there from start to finish that the customer gets to see. Here's start of demo day, and here's our punch list day. 2 weeks later, 4 weeks later, they're able to just really see what's happening, what's scheduled to happen that week. So we're just looking to take up that communication another level, and that organization another level.
Hold on. Stop you right there, okay? Because you know right there, if I'm going to ask you if I'm hearing exactly what everybody else is hearing. So that means I'm getting I have Make a Homes doing my remodel. Okay, so you're out there I got my kitchen remodeled. From the time that it's gutted and it's moving along, because I spoke about this on, you know, previous shows as, okay, you get that excitement. You got, okay, demolition is done. then you're moving right along, and it's like you got that little lull period where it doesn't seem like things are getting done. And that's where people start getting, blasé about their they're at that, that part of the project. And then when everything starts going in, cabinets and flooring, all the things start being put together, that's when they started getting excited again. Now, usually they don't know what's going on during that time.
Sure.
So so as a homeowner, I could look on this app and see my progress. So during that lull time where there is work being done that I may not see, I actually can see exactly what's being done on the progress. I have a schedule.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that we do to the bones that isn't necessarily the quote-unquote show work,
Right.
While we're taking up some subfloor to relocate some wiring or to change something or move it a few inches. Does that look like big progress at the end of the day? No, not always.
No.
But with the schedule, we're allowed to, what we're trying to do is give them as much information as possible to keep that communication open so they're comfortable. It's normal for me to be in a stranger's house every day or an acquaintance and a friend, but we have to keep in mind that that's not always comfortable for everyone else. So the more that we can keep the communication open, the more we can let them know what to expect from day to day. We send a daily reminder text that's between, myself and the homeowners. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Or, we're waiting on RJ Graham. They should be there around noon tomorrow. Okay. We'll see you then. So that app is just one more way for us to take that up a level. So we're able to load not only the calendar, the job calendar in there, but all the documents, all the spec sheets.
Pictures.
Even the before photos.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
the homeowner gets their own spot to add any pictures. Say they have a question about something, and they get home after we leave at 4 o'clock. They can take a picture, put it right into the app with their comments or questions, and boom, it just goes right to all of us so somebody can address it.
Yeah, see, that right there is huge, because here's another thing that I see the benefit of something like that is, one, like I said, there's a lot of things that are being done behind the scenes that the homeowner may not know about, but things are moving along. That schedule helps. Also, too, is I know things are moving along. A lot of times when, I've given this down payment or I've given money, I'm concerned, because what happens is you've seen that on many of occasions, more than we should, where I gave them money, they started the project, and then, poof, they're gone. And they're coming in when they want, and it's dragged out. Here you have a schedule, and you're able to keep track of everything. And it gives you peace of mind,
sure,
and comfort, knowing that, hey, this project is moving along, and it's like I said, it's what it is. Basically, I'm gonna simplify this, and if I'm an idiot, I'll dodge your shoe when you throw it at me. But it's kind of like Amazon when you're getting you order a package, and you're able to track it.
Right.
From the time that it leaves the distribution center on the truck, you can actually see it come to you. You're actually seeing your project being taken from point A to point B, and you're able to watch it, monitor it along the way.
Sure. I mean, even from, like, say, contract
I wasn't
signing.
that bad, was I?
No, that's a good analogy. Nowadays, for us to attempt to stay on budget, we're taking a sizable deposit, but we're trying to immediately order as much as possible. So
we have to.
Even that's getting harder and harder to do.
Yeah.
But they're able to see as their job progresses online in our portal, on the app, whether they're on their phone or on their desktop, they're able to see all those documents start going in there. So after the selection sheets are done, the scope of work letter's done. We even put up before pictures of their space, all the pictures during the work and the pictures after. So it's just been really great. We've gotten really good feedback from the customers about it. It's taken the construction guys on our side a little time to get used to doing things a little differently, but they're even starting to come around. So it's, at the end of the day, we're just trying to make ourselves more efficient, give a better, smoother process to our customers.
And I want to touch on the construction guys and the new technology, because of a post that was put out on social media that Evan brought up before the show that I kind of want to touch on. And but when you're talking about like, giving a deposit, that's people get a little reserved about that. But I guess when you're now in the world we live in now, it's you want these products, I need to get them now. I need to get them ordered now, because if I don't order them now, what's going to happen is I'm going to wait, and now that window that you have, that little timeline that you have, that schedule, instead of it being, say, a 6-week project, now you've just bumped it out to maybe 12 or 18 or 24 weeks because of the, I guess, not being proactive in ordering all the materials that you need, and so you can have them there when you're ready to go.
Sure. I mean, prices are changing by the day, and so's availability. So the sooner we can get something ordered and have it delivered to our warehouse and ready for the job start, the better. Just last week we had a customer who had some reservations towards the end of her project because we were doing a bathroom. It had a freestanding tub and a walk-in shower. Often to get those big freestanding tubs into the room, we need to take off the door. And sometimes the door stop. So she had spent 4 weeks while we're doing this huge 12-foot ceiling master bath remodel with no door, that we got to the end, and she was like, I've really been enjoying it with no door. Is it possible for us to get one of those sliding barn doors? I said, well, absolutely. She said, okay. I said, we're at the end of the project. It doesn't make sense to build something from scratch or order. Why don't you see what you can find in stock? So she was looking online. She found this door. She sent it over to me. I said, okay, yeah, no, I think that would look great in there aesthetically. And,
cool.
We talked about it a little bit. The very next day, it was already out of stock, and the price had gone up $180.
Wow.
At 100 something.
Yeah.
But just in one day, gone, and price changed.
Wow.
So, I mean, I think not everything's changing that fast, but a lot is. So, when we give a quote,
jump on it.
They're good for like 7 days, and we're trying to immediately, get things approved and ordered.
Jump on it.
Yeah.
Jump on it. As soon if you know that you're going to do it, and I guess this is where doing your research right up front, so when you know what you're going to do, and you can make your move on it. So do your research on a contractor. Know that, okay, when they got availability, you like what they're going to do, you like the design, everything, you can pull the trigger and get it done. Same thing with products. You can pull the trigger and get them done. And that is, that's the key. Yeah. And I want to tell a little story about Dan. And, I have people on the show that are that stand by what they do. They do what they say, and they say what they do, and they stand by it. And I want to tell you, I got a call from this gentleman, from Dan, on a Saturday. He had done a remodel, and they were having an issue. It was like a year ago. And he's like, I'm concerned. I want to make sure that they're all good. He was wanted to make sure the customer was taken care of. He says, can you come and see him? So I wound up going out and seeing him. And Dan's like, I want to make sure everything that we did was 100%. Everything was good. I'm confident in everything we did. But you know what? I dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
Oh, you're talking my story.
Yeah,
this is interesting.
So he calls me on a Saturday.
Bring your camera, Steve. I want those.
Right. So I bring my camera, and come to find out, the issue that was there was a blockage in the line that caused them to have a backup that caused water to come out and caused them to have a water issue. And it was able to be rotted, and pipes and everything were everything was in great shape. And it was one of those things where things were flushed that shouldn't be flushed. But I say that because the call that I got from Dan was not that, it was a year ago. It's like, it wasn't that, well, I'm done with it. Everything worked when I left. It was, hey, they've got an issue there. I'm not sure what it is. I just want to make sure that they're taken care of, and let's find out what is the possible issue. And everything worked right. He gave me the history on it. And I liked that attitude. It was just that kind of attitude, was not who, I'm there to blame, I'm to blame. It was, let's find out what the issue is. I want to take care of them.
Let's fix the problem as fast as possible, and then figure out who's getting the bill.
Exactly. And, everyone likes to blame instead of finding out, let's get resolution. Resolution first, and then once we find out the resolution, we find the cause. When we find the cause, then we can get the prevention.
Yeah.
And that was the order that you wanted to do. And that was, like I said, it just shows what you do and how you do everything and your approach to your business, which I think says a lot about you, that you own every project that you do and
Absolutely.
You stand by it.
We're responsible for what we do, and we take pride in it. And one of the things that often is a result of our relationships with our customers is we become friends.
Yeah.
She has my cell phone number. She was able to send me a text on a I forget, was that a Saturday or a Sunday? I think it was a Saturday.
It was a Saturday afternoon.
Morning or Saturday afternoon, and get a response out of me. If I don't know how many companies out there are like that. If you call someone's office and you get a recording, how fast of a response can you get?
You texted me on a Sunday.
I think we were immediately on it.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
Try not to bother anyone on a Sunday, but
thing is these projects that we have attention to them. The projects you have going, I have things that go on Sundays, and we have to answer. And it's part of being in business. It's part of being a business owner. It's
reliable.
It's.
I'm sure that homeowner was panicking. They're freaking out when water's dripping from the ceiling.
Right.
Or
they were concerned, but once I showed them exactly what they had and the before and after, and what I pulled out.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, so it was like, okay, well now they know. So it's rarity would happen, that they backed up, but they do happen. So, yeah. But again, it shows just who you are, and also, like I said, getting back to the technology, the trades are evolving. Mm-hmm. The fact that you have, some of the stuff that you do, you still have the old school, the old school professionalism, honoring, warranting. That's one thing that you do.
We still use a notebook and a pen and a pencil
exactly.
and a black magic marker all the time.
But having, like you said, having to get new technology like this that kind of keeps them in the know, which is really great. You also have people that are in the field that have been there a while that have to evolve. And that goes on my other point is trades have to evolve. Trades they're not the same as they were 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Absolutely not. I mean, think about how many plumbers, for example, are working at computers and building design and engineering.
Yeah.
Are employed by architectural firms, design firms.
Do you realize 20 years ago, around 20 years ago, or less than, people were getting their information. They were finding their customers. A lot of them were still using the phone book to get, not customers. They were getting, people were finding contractors, finding things through the phone book.
Sure.
And now
AAA reliable roofing, right?
Exactly. If the more A's you can have in your name,
if there's anybody out there like that, it was
the more A's you can have in your name, you got first position.
You were at the top of the phone book list.
Right. And now you're, a phone book, if you even have one, is probably used just as a doorstop or whatever. Nobody's using them anymore. Everything is all digital. Everything. And before, if you had an issue with somebody, you could tell your neighbor, and that's it. You can tell maybe a handful of people, and that's it. Now, if you have an issue, you have a voice that you can reach out to many. You have email that you can send to the proper people in charge that can actually get your voice heard if it's that bad. So you have all this technology that's happening. It's applying to the trades. And I saw something on social media that I found very interesting because it was they were asking a question, which I found very, we were talking about this. It was recommending of the trades. It was, I believe, I'm trying to find what exactly the terminology, what advice would you give to young people coming out of high school? And when you think about it, it's like, okay, what do you do? What is the advice you would give? It says, what advice would you give a high school graduate this year?
What advice would I give now, or what advice has most people been giving for the last 10 or 20 years?
Well, let's go with the advice they gave for the last 10 or 20 years. Or actually more than that. Go to college.
Right, go to college.
Yeah,
get a degree.
Exactly. And
I don't think that's as applicable today.
It's definitely, depending on what you're going for or what your career ambition is.
Sure.
It may or may not be applicable. It may not be something that you want to do. But my response was, in this particular question, was me being a tradesman, and obviously you, my advice was go into the trades. And I reflected on a story that I read a while back with a picture that showed a father along with his 3 children. One was a doctor, the other was a lawyer, and the last was an accountant. All of their education was paid for by their father, who was in the trades. And I believe he was an electrician.
Yeah.
And that is what, during COVID, the trades were working. They were, and it still continues to evolve. And the technology in the trades now, in what you're doing, it's evolving.
Oh, absolutely.
This is not your grandfather's plumbing or plumbing company. This is not, tankless water heaters. They've evolved. I've had older plumbers that take them off and they're looking at this box full of wiring. It looks like opening up a box of a hard drive, and they're like, I don't know. And they put it right back on. And then I have to work on them, and I have this tankless water heater gutted and taken apart and laying on the floor of this homeowner's basement. They walk in and see their expensive tankless water heater in pieces, and then they just, I'm getting queasy, and they walk back upstairs. But you have to know how to service these.
Sure.
And again, we have to retrain ourselves, but the sky's the limit on the trades.
I agree. I often tell these young guys, you're going to learn a set of skills that's marketable anywhere in the world. When you learn to problem solve, when you learn to have an attention to detail, when you learn to work with your hands, there is no limit to that. You can go anywhere in the world and do your trade or find a job and a career there.
And also critical thinking skills. Mm-hmm. Shift on the fly. What do I do? What if this doesn't work? What do I do when? And when you have that kind of skill set and that kind of thought process, it really applies to pretty much everything that you do. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know, have a different mindset. And for people, I think somebody had mentioned that, I think on the same post, that, the trades are like almost dead, or you get pigeonholed. And I don't think that's accurate. Just the fact that your guys are going in and having to work in their system to take pictures, take videos, upload them, and order stuff online. In the showroom, you're bringing it up online to be able to show everybody what their vision's going to be.
Sure.
Just having all that, just right there.
I know recently I saw an article and it talked about one of the highest paid trades anticipated to being electricians.
Yeah.
That it's one of the areas with fastest growth. If you think about it this way, I'm not an electrician, you're not either. But if I'll send you this article, I'll go find it. But they were talking about how in 4 years of training, you can be making 6 figures a year with no debt. And you've been earning money the whole time you were getting trained, right? So I
wait a minute.
While
paid
the trades
training
aren't for everyone, it's a great avenue to get a good career.
So you get paid training, decently paid,
benefits,
and you're already immediately from the time you get started, you're contributing towards your pension or your retirement. So imagine that you start in the trades out of high school at 18. So you start at 18. And you're already contributing to these things. Right. By the time you're 22 years old, 23, if you started at 18, 23 years old, you could be right near the 6-figure mark.
And probably already have a chunk of change in your retirement account, and you probably already have a paid-off vehicle, and you probably already own your first little condo. Or
if you're living at
house.
home, you probably socked away a lot of that money.
At home, you got a fat bank account.
There you go.
But
again, it's
not for everybody. Some people don't like to work with their hands, and I'm certainly not taking anything away from those people.
No.
There's members of my family that just aren't cut out to do this sort of thing. Their brains function a different way, and you can certainly see the advantage to college for them. I guess my point was, is it just a blanket advice?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a while back because it was a way to differentiate yourself, right? Everyone was coming out of college wanting a suit and tie job, but if you had a college degree, you stood out from the crowd. Nowadays, it's almost like you stand out from the crowd when you can do things for yourself, when you don't have to pay the handyman to come to your house.
Right. Well, if you can, I guess you have to evaluate who you are and what you want to do, which I think that's a real tough ask of somebody who's 18 years old.
Very good point.
I have to determine what I want to do for the rest of my life when I spent the whole life being told you need to do what you're told. And now you got to think for yourself. And it's like, okay, that's kind of difficult. It's a large burden to put on one's shoulders. And it's like, okay, I got to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life. And if you have a professional idea, there's some people that are, by the time they're little, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be this and that. So, I mean, those are pretty much cut dry. Mm-hmm. But then you have some that may not have been the best student because they don't visually see it in a book, but when you put it in their hands, they can put everything together. Mm-hmm. And that is where that might be a perfect example of where the trades come in there, because when you can take what you're reading and apply it immediately, a lot of people do better under that scenario than what happens when it's like, okay, you've got to read a bunch of stuff and then answer questions and take a test and continue on. Whereas in school, you're reading it, you're hands-on, you're learning why you're doing it, what you're doing, why you're doing it, how is it going to affect point A to point B to point C on what you're building. So there's a lot more. And and also to touch on what you're saying about, even if you don't swing a tool, there are so many other jobs related to the trades.
Sure.
With engineering, with building inspection, plan design,
municipalities.
Yes. I mean, there's so much there. I mean,
inspectors.
Well, people think that, we're talking about, you're a plumber, you just do drains. I'm like, no. I said, do you have any idea how much volume this water line, this 1-inch water line will contain? How much water volume? Huh? Do you know how to calculate for that? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm like, do you know how much the water volume comes out of this drain pipe? Do you know what the flow rate is on this water heater? Do you know how this is calculated on this is right sized? I mean, just using some numbers there. They're not all related to one particular specific thing, but sure. There's all these things that are science behind it that you have to know. And basically when you're doing framing, it's okay. Do you realize that I need to calculate the load that's going to be on this particular wall or this particular, structure that I've got to build up? I mean, I'm not even with an electrician. I've got to calculate all this, the different amperages and all these different loads that are going to be on this particular fuse or this particular box to make sure that it's going to be done right, because in the end, safety is riding on it. And this is all brain work. It's not just, we're not a bunch of Neanderthals, scraping our, our knuckles off the ground. And it's like, we put pipe here, we connect wire. We pound, drywall and wall. No, we don't do that. We're actually, there's a lot more that goes to it. So to discount the trades as something that is, less than, which a lot of people did, is I think we're seeing effects of it because not a whole lot of people are going into it. And the people that were in it are retiring.
I definitely see a shortage.
Oh, yeah, there is.
It's been harder and harder for us to find people qualified to do this. And, ironically, we're getting more and more people who are wanting to change careers.
Yes.
I don't know why I've had a run of people like that reach out and say, hey, I do this right now, but I've always wanted to do this, and I'm dissatisfied with my office job, and I'd love to come give it a try, And that's a hard spot to move from.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, my perspective comes from a guy that went to college. I actually never finished, but when I left, I was on the dean's list, and it just wasn't for me. I really needed to go take the world by the horns and do something.
Yeah, I went to the University of Ford City. Anybody could figure that out, let me know what that is. It's actually Daly College in Chicago. So,
nice.
Dan, if people want to get a hold of you and stop by your showroom, how do they reach out to you?
So they can do that a couple ways. You can give us a call. It's 708-995-1776. Obviously, you can stop by. You can find us on any map service, or you can just send us an email at info@makahomes.com. It's MAKA, homes with an S.
So, pro for the trades. You all for them? Go to the trades. You're all for it. Recommendation.
You can't go wrong. You can always go and do something else later. So I would definitely say go do it.
Well, you know me, I'm a solid recommendation for it, especially there's going to be a huge shortage on it, mark my words. So it's going to be...
making good money now. It's only going to get better and better,
absolutely,
I think, over the next 10 years.
So if you have any questions or comments, you can reach us by text at the Prepare to Repair show line at 708-964-5500. And also, please do not forget to log on to WJOL.com to win that Touch IQ faucet. We're going to be giving it away next week. So thank everybody for listening. Dan for coming on the show. And till next week, you guys have a good